News can now project that Republicans will take control of this.
Right now, it has been arrested on a number of charges.
Threats continue to come in online from a group calling themselves the...
Mom! Mom!
Oh, you working? Hello?
Hey, Darren.
Hey.
You just kind of left everyone here, so I just wanted to give you a quick call to see, well, if you were doing all right, and
Who is that?
Think on your sins, Darren.
Who the hell are you?
I'm here to show you something. Something beautiful. You had promise, didn't you, Darren? Political promise. But isn't it funny how everyone loves to watch someone self-destruct? My God, how desperate are you? So desperate you'd steal from your own mother.
No. I'm not gonna do this.
It's too late! You already did. Maybe things were a bit foggy for you. Perhaps this will help you piece the puzzle together. This has been your vice, hasn't it? Made you steal from your mother because you needed more. You're just a puppet, tangled in strings and controlled by your liquid puppet master.
What's the point of all this?
To make you face what you've done. You've been given so much that others would kill for. Instead, you chose to hurt others. You lost control, Darren. You hit your girlfriend who was only trying to help. There's blood on your hands. Do you know what it feels like to be victimized? You remember this, right? This is the location where you ended yourself. The police are just down the road, and you'll be coming along soon in your car. Just like this. This is what you did to an innocent boy because you were drunk. How will you ever redeem yourself? Rage against the dying of the light.
Welcome back to News Tonight. I'm Brendan Parker. What you have just seen was a dramatic reenactment based on eyewitness testimony of Darren Sutter, a young man who, not long ago, was touted as a future political player at the national level. Mr. Sutter is joining us now. Darren, how do you do?
I'm doing good.
Now, Darren, just a few short months ago, you were all over the news in the Northeast and sometimes on a couple of the big networks. But then you suffered a very public meltdown. Can you tell us in your own words what happened?
Well, Brendan, I want to be completely honest with you and with everyone watching. While I was going around with my different advocate groups and attending rallies and protests throughout the DC area, I acted like I was on top of the world, when really I was suffering inside from what can only be described as personal demons, the worst of which was my demon in a bottle.
You are referring to your drinking problem?
That's right. And while during the day I was attempting to establish myself as a political force for the future, at night I was drinking to try to keep that high going. I would drink, and then I would drink some more, and then some more, and then more, until I either ran out of money or I blacked out and then ended up back in my room wherever I was staying.
How did you always manage to find your way back?
My friends were the type that would help to a certain extent. They never tried to stop me from drinking, but when I was drinking, they would take care of me when I was drunk.
So, in essence, they were enabling you.
Yes, they were, but they're gone now, and I don't talk to them anymore.
I see. Darren, let's cut to the chase here. Tell us about that fateful day.
Well, what happened was I was home at that time, staying with my mother, and by that time I had such a bad addiction that my bank account was completely empty. So that day, I decided to take some money from her wallet because I needed more. You know, I always needed more. I never had enough. No one ever told me enough until it was too late. And that was later that day when my girlfriend followed me home from the liquor store and tried to reason with me, tried to talk to me, but I snapped and I hit her. It was the terrible, horrible, awful mistake that I wish every day that I could take back. I really do, Brendan. And then I tried to run away. I drove my car, drunk off my ass. And there was a young boy who was just crossing the street, and I hit him. And later that night, I was arrested. I don't expect to just be forgiven. I know I need to earn that, but that's part of the reason I'm here. I'm here to tell my story on my terms.
Speaking of why you're here, we all want to know, what the hell went on in your head during that dream?
Well, it's honestly a bit foggy to me now, having been a while, but what we just saw reenacted over here was based on what I wrote down immediately after waking up from that dream. And when I woke up, I remembered everything. So what you saw was what happened. But there is one aspect I'd like to address.
Wait. Let me guess. That line at the end about rage.
Yes, that's exactly it.
Yes, I'm quite intrigued by that. You were quite insistent on keeping that part in the video. Why is that?
Well, I think because that's the part that stuck with me the most. Even after I was mentally tortured by essentially myself, that line from that Dylan Thomas poem stood out to me because I felt like it was like calling to me somehow. Like it was some sort of foreshadowing or something.
Very interesting. I'm sorry, we'll have to stop right there. This show has sponsors and they need their commercial break. What the hell's happened? What's going on? Why are we losing the signal?
I don't know. Everything just went down.
Hello, everyone. I'm so glad you all tuned in tonight. First, we'd like to thank Mr. Parker for graciously providing us with our audience for the evening. Without you, there wouldn't be an us. Now, there's one question I must ask of all of you. Do we have your attention now? We told you a system that deliberately and unrelentingly grinds the many under its heels for the benefit of the few can't last. You ignored us. You wrote us off as extremists. Not this time. The signal is ours. We have no intention of relinquishing control until our words cease to fall on deaf ears. We are the revolution against government exploitation. We are Rage, and we are here to give you a very important message. You have been lied to. Lied to by your so-called unbiased news sources. Lied to by the corporations and lied to by the very people you elected to represent you. For decades now, you have all been under the illusion that you are still living in a democracy, but how could that be the case? When 6 corporations control the entirety of the media, Wall Street controls Congress, and the top 1% can now bury their hands as deeply in the pockets of politicians and bureaucrats as they please, because that's what the Supreme Court considers impartial politics. It's time to cast off the veil of ignorance they've sown. The right-left paradigm is a facade ensuring that we never have a decisive plan of action or any cohesion whatsoever as a nation, and instead bicker over scraps and leftovers while the politicians, self-made billionaires, and thieves take everything from us. No longer are there representatives of different ideologies debating with one another to express views. Now they dance around on a stage competing for buzzwords or sound bites to regurgitate endlessly while they claim they want what's best for America. But these aren't elections, merely popularity contests. The only real conflict is slaves versus masters. Unfortunately, we are the slaves and we are severely outmatched, but that is only for as long as we remain ignorant. Without action, we will remain the slaves they need us to be, but together we can fight back. They have billions of dollars, but we have power their money can't buy. We build the cars they drive, prepare the food they eat, and keep every system that affords them their power intact. We know what their goals are, and we can stop this from getting worse if we act now. So everyone, we implore you to no longer bow to the corporate media, the banks, and the will of the wealthy. Now is not the time to be complacent. Now is the time to take a stand and gather at the gates of power. Now is the time to get angry about what's being done to us. Now is the time to take back what our forefathers fought for. Seize the remains of our nation's pride and honor, hold them to your chest, and rage against our smirking taskmasters. Rage against our deceitful leaders. Rage against the monsters our society breeds in droves, but most importantly, rage against the broken promise that America has become. The light of America is darkening for us. Lady Liberty's torch has been extinguished. Rage. against the dying of the light.